Hello, everybody, for joining. I will be monitoring little comments here. Say hello if you are joining us live. See, we have some viewers so far. Hello, Juliana.
Hello.
This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a slightly different flowing conversations that I'm excited about because I get to flip the camera around and kind of put myself in the spotlight in a sense, and talk about what we've got cooking, imagination technology, and some massive vision stuff. And yeah, so I'm excited to dive in. I don't want to preface too much, but I guess just to give people a little bit of background, you are in Colombia.
Yes, Colombia, South America.
Colombia, South America. And I am traveling. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so I believe because of that, we are in the same time zone, right?
No, I'm
no.
Central Time right now.
Oh, Central. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Almost the same time zone. Okay. So I'm going to let you drive, and we can just let's flow from there. I'm excited for these questions that you've got.
Okay, I just want to get people to know you first. So I want to talk about you a little bit more. And then I want to tell the story, how I met you and why we're here, how we got here. So I was looking at your LinkedIn page, and there are like many things you have done. And I wanted you to tell us a little bit about Mania. I'm saying it right? Yeah.
What?
Mania, Maniac.
Oh, Mania.
Yeah.
Mania.
And then, yeah, a little bit about what is that about, and then we go from there.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, let's start there. So the story here is I was very much a perfectionist and didn't consider myself to be creative at all when I was first into my awakening and personal development early on in that in terms of like the things I wanted to fix about myself. I didn't feel like I was creative at all. And as I started to really start to do more personal development and self-help books and working on myself, I guess is how you put it, right? I started to get more and more ideas about messages I wanted to share, things that were totally helping me flip my paradigms and heal myself and transform things that I felt were broke. And there was still an element of apprehension to actually go from being a dreamer to taking an idea and bringing it to life. There was still a lot of fear about that, about taking the leap and taking that leap of faith on something. And more ideas started to percolate, and all of a sudden, this one concept bubbled up to the surface around an interesting way to do superpowers in a really psychological sense, and I had never seen this take ever before. Of course, different spins on superpowers and superheroes and all of that. So this one was the one that actually whoa, this needs to happen. Like this is I'm really passionate about this, and I didn't normally feel that feeling. And so that was a sign to me that it was the cream that rose to the top that needed to happen. And so once I decided that, all of a sudden the universe started to bring different people to me that were signals of, oh, we're doing this. And so the first person I met was Leon, who is the writer of Mania, and we started to jam a little bit about he's really good at taking a concept and extrapolating it and world building it and character building it. And we started jamming, and all of a sudden this idea started to form as we have with Mania, uh, and characters, story, everything, and really fleshing it out. And this for me was so exciting because first off, I wasn't a lone wolf. I wasn't doing it all myself, so that was new for me. And then second off, to feel that creative flow with someone and to actually feel like we were making something was also new for me and something that I really desired because it was how I was being creative, but not judging myself for what I couldn't do, but playing with someone that could really bolster off what I was bringing and create something even bigger than just either one of us could bring by ourselves. And so, long story short, we found the illustrator. One of my best friends came on board, and he did the lettering and the drawing as well. And we all worked on this story of Mania, this epic science fiction story that poses the question: what if superpowers arose from mental disorder? And we made a comic book. We made 3 issues of a comic book. I got invited to speak at Comic-Con San Diego on a panel, and share the message, share the work, the franchise, and it was something that came from my heart, my passion. I invested into it, passion, body, soul, money, like everything, and we made it. And it was the first time any of us had ever done any of that sort. And we went to conventions, we talked to fans, we did all of these things. We learned so much, and it's still very much alive in my heart. It's just bookmarked, I always say, because it's ready when the timing is going to be there for more comics, for movies, TV show. Like, it's a franchise that is ready for amazing things. But yeah, that's Mania, and it's epic.
So was the first time you understood that whatever you can dream is possible? No, like, oh, I don't need only to dream, but also to act and make it like a reality.
Exactly.
So after
Exactly.
that, you started working for SpaceX. Yes.
Strike it, reverse it. SpaceX was first, and then Mania.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So how was
Yeah.
your experience there?
Yeah. So SpaceX, talk about passion. Um, Passion is what got my foot in the door and gave me the opportunity, because I it was literally right out of high school that I talked to the CIO of SpaceX, and we shared passion for technology, of course, and he saw potential and I'm a quick learner. He was able to just give me tasks, and I could just learn, teach myself whatever I needed, and he was able to trust me with IT stuff, help desk, installing servers, and it was a startup back then, and I was employee 110, and as I grew in responsibilities, I started to do more marketing technologies, and then they had their first successful launch of the Falcon 1 rocket, and then I got to work with Elon on a music video for it, which was another incredible experience.
Rockstar.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And then after that, you started your career, I would say career, as a coach. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
How long has been like you have been researching and focus on this topic?
So it's definitely taken the form of many different labels and roles and evolutions, but I would say now close to 3 years, and then as far as like what we call imagination technology, as a soul's work, I mean, we can say my whole life, but close to 10 years for that.
10 years.
Yeah.
Like I would say consciousness research is
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Consciousness research. I love that. Or like research into the field of passion as a field of study. Yeah.
Okay. Super. Great. Um, so before the questions, other questions I want, because I want to go into imagination technology. I wanna share the story how I met you and why. So it was through Facebook. And then a friend of mine tagged me in one of your posts about purpose. I was desperately looking for purpose. I was lost, anxious, depressed. I hated my life. I hated my job. So a friend tagged me like, "Oh, Juliana, check this." And
Hmm.
then you messaged me like, "Hey, why this guy tagged you in my post?" And we had this conversation. And I was the more rational person I ever met. I didn't believe in anything that wasn't in a Harvard document research.
Hmm.
And after I think we spoke like 20 minutes, I remember I was in Tampa, yeah, Florida. I remember very well that conversation. And then I say yes to this to work with this crazy guy that I never met before in my life, that I didn't know what he was doing.
Hmm.
I just trust and gave my money and it started the most amazing adventure of my life. The I would say that the travel, the trip into myself that I never imagined I would be doing, but I'm very, very happy I got to that moment. And then after that, I everything in my life changed. You know, is another person at that moment. I am totally different person now. I left all my life behind and starting over with a very different point of view of life. And I'm glad we met. And then we are here
Yeah.
working together. And after 3 years, it
Yeah.
was exactly
I feel like
2010.
I feel like we should put the context for the people that don't know. Um, you were in this financial career for close to 10, 12 years.
Yeah, 12
Some,
years doing a job I hated.
yeah. Um, and this you were in a pretty good position. You were comfortable, the golden handcuffs, as they say, uh, and so you went from this 12-year career to facing the monsters about actually totally leaving all of that behind and going to your passions
Exactly. Yeah,
without even knowing what that was.
I'm still figuring out what those are.
Yeah.
But yes, I was in the States. That for a Colombian is like amazing. Oh my God, you're working in the United States, the American dream. You know, a huge company, a good position, possibility to grow.
Hmm.
And I was very happy. I didn't like it, and I never did. And then I stopped and I asked myself, like, is this life? Okay, is this all there is?
Hmm.
So I don't want to have this life the rest of my life. So yeah, it was painful. It was very painful. I thought when I was making the decision to leave everything behind, my job, the States, my visa, my partner, everything, I thought I was dying.
Hmm.
And then I had to come back to live with my parents again, almost 40. And I thought I was gonna die. That my life, yeah, that there is no value to my life because I don't have this position in this company and the dollars coming into my account. I'm a loser. And I thought that for a long time, but deep, deep in the bottom of my heart, I knew that was the process that I needed to live that to understand the world and many things that I understand now. So
Yeah.
it was painful, and you were there all the time, and yeah, after a lot of inner work, and I think these 2 years have been more about growing and understanding many things. It's been amazing. Yeah, yeah. So that's the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we met. So, going to the questions. You always mention that we have technology, and human consciousness. Okay,
Yeah.
that are like evolving, but for some reason, technology is going faster, and human consciousness is staying like behind, and there is a point when we need to connect, or we need to, to cross that, so technology doesn't take advantage or something like that.
Mhm.
Can you explain a little more about it?
Yeah. So there are, again, when we talk about this, we can either go to the fear narratives or the love narratives. They both are kind of simultaneously happening as choices. Um, and so if you listen and pay attention to the fear narratives, the entertainment narratives, conspiracies, concern, fear, we very much paint this picture that technology and humanity are very much separate, and technology is going to be doing its thing, and it's going to lead to, you know uh, AI becoming too powerful and taking over, and all of that. Everything that is doused in fear is based off that separation, and so that's where all this concerns, and you hear it in how people, the experts, speak about it. The way that I like to paint the picture, as you kind of put it in the question, is putting us together on the same mountain, but just on different, scaling the mountain from different sides. So on one side we have man, human, and on the other side we have machine. And instead of looking at them as separate trajectories and separate destinations and unknowns, what we're doing is scaling the same mountaintop, approaching the same point uh, of singularity at the top, in oneness. Um, and so from that perspective, I can go back to considering myself a hybrid of sorts, in the sense that uh, early on in my age, I didn't grow up with phones or computers, in the sense of like 0 till maybe like 7, 8 years old. There wasn't really a lot of technology in that sense of computers. But then from you know uh, 95, 96, then boom, it explodes after the 80s. Like it just explodes, and now we have that exponential speed where uh, the 56K modem became the DSL. The DSL became high-speed internet, and then cellular, high-speed cellular anywhere around the world kind of thing. And that happened within the last 20 years. So I'm kind of a child of both worlds, in the sense of knowing what it was like without having a phone in your hand, uh, growing up, to having it, versus what it's now is like growing up with it. Everyone's growing up with it. So I have this perspective that as I grew, the technology advanced. And as technology advanced, I've advanced. And so one side is, it's a relationship. It's a, one is waiting for the other, and the other is waiting for the other before the next leaps happen. So technology is helping humans evolve, and humans are helping to advance technology as this relationship gets faster and faster, of this unity of consciousness that we're speaking, that you spoke about. Um, so I very much look at it like it's the same mountaintop, and it's a mirror. It's a mirror, in the sense that it's helping us and we're helping it, and
Yeah,
that very much illustrates the where we're headed, and how amazing this is.
yeah. There is a belief that technology is making us stupid.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's just a limiting idea, a limiting belief.
right,
We're not getting more stupid.
right. It's augmentation, and it's a tool. So just, if you've ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, the tool can be used for uh, amazing things, or it can be used for violence, and we have that choice. And it's just a matter of consciousness.
Yeah,
How do we want to use it consciously, or have it use us unconsciously? Um, and that really informs. Um, it really informs intelligence, the augmentation of our intelligence, because before we had screens, the imagination was our virtual reality, but we had no way of interacting with it. And so now screens give us that augmented virtual reality, uh, that makes it tangible for us, and that we can interact with it with video games, and it's real, in the sense of making the imagination, which is real in the third dimensional sense of our eyes being able to see it.
yeah. So you don't believe that kids are like losing their creativity because of technology? That's also a myth.
Mm, that's a I don't know if I can make a blanket generalization, but I don't think so. I think it's a tool, it's a toy, and it's we're creating it with our intelligence, and so it's just it's naturally helping us, our intelligence, be more efficient, be more effective, be more productive, and I think in aligning with Steve Jobs' vision, it's helping us be more creative, like giving us better tools to take what's in our imagination and bring it into, instead of that to a pencil, now we can take that and really create applications and create all of these wonderful things with technology. So it's how awake we want to be with it, versus how, if we're using it as an escape. And that, I think that's the same for any medium, of art, of entertainment, of artistry. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned 3D before. Can you
Mm.
speak a little bit about multi-dimensions, 3D, 4D, 5D? So we will get clear about what it is, or according to you.
Yeah. So the context of, since we're going to head into imagination technology as like the tail, for this, I want to answer it within the context of evolution, because I think when we understand context, we can see forward and see vision with context. And that's really important. So when we look in the context of evolution, the growth of intelligence to where we are now, and I guess this would be more science based, and let's start there because that's 3D, right? We understand that or we can look at how it's speeding up. If you like zoom all the way, big picture, Big Bang, again, let's stay science for now. Big Bang till dinosaurs, millions, billions maybe of years.
Billions, billions of years. Yeah.
Yeah, really wide, really wide. And then from dinosaurs till, let's say, apes, hundreds of millions, it's there, still a lot, but little less for that leap, evolutionary leap. And then from apes to early Homo sapiens, even less. And as an evolution, what's happening there is conscious going from being an animal consciousness, where it's all physical. It's just my surroundings, no identity, and just purely survival needs, survival of the fittest, operating system, survival. And then as we go into the 2001 A Space Odyssey kind of speed up, the thing going in the air, now we go from that to humans, to like what that leap was, to go from animal consciousness to human consciousness, which again, dramatically quicker than dinosaurs. Like, you see how it's speeding up.
Yeah.
And so, but what happened there? In an evolutionary sense, we go from animal consciousness to human consciousness, which is still survival of the fittest, but now there's a self-conscious, there's an identity structure and a tribal structure that gets developed because language and tribals
Art.
and time, survival in time. Now, instead of just being instincts, now it's, is there a tiger around the corner about to kill me? I need to know what's happening in the future, kind of thing. So now time is becoming involved, which is the identity of an individual within the pack of animals in a human sense. And that's early mind. So now we've gone from 3D, third dimensional based physical perspective, to time, mind, an identity. And what I mean by that, for those that don't understand, is going from 3D, the third dimension, to the fourth dimension is when we enter the realm where you can see and interact with your mind, but I can't see it. With my physical eyes, I can't see your mind. So thus, it's not in the third dimension. The mind is not in the third dimension, by the very sense that my five senses cannot see your mind.
Okay.
That means it's not in 3D, we're in 4D. We've made an evolutionary multi-dimensional instead of unidimensional. Now we're in multiple dimensions at the same time. And we are still survival of the fittest, and still very much with the collective of the animal family pack dynamic of like not so much an individuality. Like, to be outside of that tribe was death to that survival mode. You could not be the outsider. That is unsafe, wrong, bad, no, 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 danger, 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 fear, fear, fear. Now, going from there to the thousands of years, hundreds of years, boom, 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 to let's say the Industrial Revolution. So now technology is starting to emerge as our intelligence is getting smarter with tools, with information, with knowledge, with language, communication. All of that is the complexities of intelligence are starting to get better, smarter. And that it's going more into the human consciousness and more intelligence of individuality. And now we're creating tools and creating industrial technology machines, birthing out of that need for efficiency and need for rapid manufacturing of books to share that knowledge and what have you. Now, now we've gone from thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions to, let's say, the 80s, when computers were starting to become more prevalent, going from mainframes to now Apple, Microsoft. Now we have a computer in every household with technology. And now in the span of 20 years, 20, 30 years, we're leaping again with technology that's taking us. And now this shift in consciousness that we're experiencing is hitting the walls of the survival of the fittest operating system that we've been conditioned and using to get us to this point as a purpose. To get us to this point, now we're hitting the walls of that system.
Now, yeah, now what? What is there?
Now what is there? So what is happening there is we're seeing the limitations of a 3D, 4D, body, mind only based existence. That is the matrix. That is the prison of being locked and not being free. And I'll bring in the Matrix because that is one of my favorite metaphors, favorite movies of this narrative. To what is next? This is now that we have technology as this power, but we're still operating from this survival, low performance system. Now we're bottlenecking. And that's what we're experiencing right now as this massive shift in consciousness and awakening of consciousness is awakening out of 4D, out of time, out of linear programming into 5D imagination, into a visionary space of everything is possible, of quantum mechanics, which is all possibilities exist, and it's limitlessness instead of limitation.
Okay.
And so what this means on an evolutionary level is we're stepping outside of the isolated identity structure, which is what the survival made, to self-awareness, self-conscious lower frequencies to self-awareness higher frequencies. It's a frequency game now. Okay. Instead of a time game, we're going to a frequency game where the lower frequencies are the self-conscious, I'm a person state, to self-awareness, higher frequencies, self-aware of a dream, self-aware that I am a dream character in your dream, to I am presence. I am the presence, the infinite. I am the limitlessness, boundless, the beyond the personal identity, and not limited in that box anymore, to the imagination of infinite possibilities, and what that means from going from survival and fear to passion, love, and our power and our freedom.
Beautiful. You said it beautiful. I love it. What is behind that wall? Is something that is already there, or is something we need to create and imagine?
Ooh. I go to give context to this. I paint from the child's, because at that core, it's all about reaccessing that childlike spirit. That's the imagination, the child's sense of wonder and curiosity, right? So I go back to that to answer this question, because it was something that I was aware of growing up, being a sensitive, empathic kid, is when you're a child, you don't have an identity yet. There's nothing hard-coded about you, except maybe your name at a certain point, like, of course, but the rigidness of identity is not yet concrete. But it was something I was aware of, that as a child, you are full make-believe. You are the imagination. And in the waves, theta waves is the way that they describe it. That child's imagination, and being in that just full make-believe, real, no separation, no borders, just all's possible kind of thing that we had when we were on the playground as children, because there was nothing there yet. But what gets built is, all of a sudden, to grow up into quote unquote reality, you have to draw this wall between what they're telling us is reality and what they're telling us is that make-believe, fake stuff, make-believe. And this wall in the middle of fear that says, go away, grow up, become an adult, come to reality, leave all that make-believe shit behind, get out of your dreams, like all of that, come to reality, be responsible, and get further and further away until you forget about the imagination and the ability to ask questions and to have that spirit.
Beautiful. So you're talking about time. So time would be in the fourth dimension. Mm-hmm. It is not in the 3D nor the 5D. There is no time there.
Right. I mean, in 3D we interact with it. We see it in 3D in the sense of like looking at a clock, right? We can watch time in that sense. We can measure, it's a measurement, so we can measure things in 3D, but the construct of time is in the fourth dimension. It is the fourth dimension. It is what creates and keeps us on a linear, one track timeline of past, like I was born in 1988, point to now in 2020 to the future 2050, whatever. In time, that's one line from a two-dimensional perspective. That's one line. And we think that that one line is us when we're identified with the body as just being the body. That's past, present, future. And so once we go to the fifth dimension, that whole thing breaks and it becomes multiple timelines, parallel realities, alternate realities. So there's, instead of one line, it becomes like an asterisk, like everything points to the convergence of this timeline, that timeline, your timeline, my timeline, and that's the multiverse.
Okay, great. So we created technology, okay? Artificial intelligence, robots, machines. Mm-hmm. So they also have this limitation of time because we made it out of our 4D, okay? So they're not gonna have consciousness. So we're not gonna know something like artificial intelligence plus consciousness. That doesn't work together.
From the separation, yes. But again, going back to a oneness, a unity here. This, I love saying this because I don't hear many people talking about this. But when you look at artificial intelligence and organic intelligence or human intelligence, and you ride that up to a root of intelligence or infinite intelligence, that's consciousness. It's all coming from the same consciousness. Artificial intelligence, organic intelligence are coming from one intelligence. Instead of looking at it as separating, that's what unifies it. And it's the one consciousness that everyone is. It's the spirit essence of everyone.
Wow, cool. Never thought about it, but yeah. Okay, cool. I'm gonna check what else I want to talk before we move. Yeah, okay. No, I think you answered that already. Okay, let's go to information technology. What is it? What is the world of information technology? What is it?
Ooh. I love how you're asking these questions because it's like great. Because I purposely did not want to hear the questions beforehand, right? Okay, so we have to, like going back to what I said about the Industrial Revolution. Let's bring up just the example, the printing press, the ability to take a book that someone has written, which is knowledge, information, words, language, art, and put it through a machine and get a copy. And to be able to do that. And so we go from one and then bam, we can take this piece of information and disseminate it, newspapers, to multiple people. So in the analog sense, a newspaper was an early information technology because it allowed information to be disseminated and shared to more people. Fast forward to the internet and what we have as the information age, which the internet, speaking in consciousness, is just the representation of the cosmic consciousness systems of information. It's the visual representation of the ability of consciousness to be in all time and space at the same time, all past, all present, all futures, all infinite possibilities.
It's like internet was here because we were already ready for this.
Yes.
To handle it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And when someone created a great work of art, they were tapping in to that possibility and bringing it to reality. So the internet is, in the information age, is all of that information being available anywhere to anyone in a democratized sense. Like everyone has access to this information. It's open. And so information technology is the systems, the framework of this web of our exchange of information through technology, through the internet, through the pipes of this internet. And on the human side, the human side, we are in the survival of the fittest processing information in the same architecture. And that's, again, the bottlenecks that we're hitting that are painting what we're going to be talking about with imagination technology.
Okay, so it's like there's a lot of information out there that we cannot process because we're still in this 4D kind of thing tank. So we're like overwhelmed with all this information out there.
Yes, exactly. Overwhelm, saturation, all of these symptoms are because the intelligence, infinite intelligence that is beyond our comprehension, our dimension, is coming down, channeling into our brains. Like most people have heard, like our brains are actually receivers of energy. Like we're if you pay attention to like law of attraction, like we're radio systems tuning to different frequencies, and based off what your channel you're tuning into, that's the stream of thoughts that you're going to be receiving. So what we're hitting here is we're seeing, now that we're awakening, that we are creating our thoughts instead of being victims of thoughts. Now we're starting to get more precise on, oh, then how do I create better thoughts? If my thoughts create my reality and my thoughts are shitty and I have like a negative voice and all these like self-hatred and uh, all these emotions and all these thoughts that are just tearing us down, and judgment and self-criticism and all that negative worldview and anxiety and stress that weighs down the whole body. Um, but now it's like, okay, but how do I change the thoughts? How do I retune? And that's where we enter spirituality, because that's the balance to the science of survival, to the mysteries and the mysticism and the magic of like law of attraction. How do I manipulate or change my reality to have more money, to have more this, more that, less this, less that, uh, by becoming a master of my emotions, a master of my mind, personal development, self-help. All of that starts to become more prevalent because people are awakening to choice now. So now the parallels, the fun parallels here is that we're the computers that we're creating in that relationship. The mind is a computer in the metaphor. That's how I love to use it, is the metaphor that the computer needs the upgrade, the operating system, in order to, like, I don't know if you remember early computers were so slow, right? Like when you tried to do something and chug chug chug, or the internet, because the processor was only capable of a certain speed. But now things are much faster because processors are faster. So our hardware, our software needs that upgrade to allow the processing of light, data, information to go through soul, imagination, soul, spirit, mind, body, down, down, and up, body, mind, spirit, soul, soul, spirit, this is imagination technology. The flow of information, the flow of energy throughout this multidimensional system to process data faster. That's what allows higher frequencies. When our brains, instead of processing like binary, process quantumly, allows higher frequencies. Bliss, joy, all of those are on a higher frequencies versus pain, stress, anger, lower frequencies.
Okay, so it's like information technology is what we have created with the 3D and the 4D. Okay,
Yeah.
it's the space in information technology, and imagination technology would be adding the five dimension.
Yeah.
part of the, okay,
Yeah.
right.
It's creating, it's going from a unidimensional perspective to a multidimensional perspective. All of it really is metaphors and language. It's pointing because they're just like signposts of the teachings, because the fifth dimension represents all possibilities. Everything is possible. And so it's discerning or distinguishing mind, like the lowercase mind, like the personal mind, to the imagination, the infinite field of possibilities, or God, or the source of all creation, or the great mind. Some call it, right. Self-conscious, self-awareness, mind, imagination, all just language to try to illustrate limitation, stuck, limitlessness.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. So you mentioned that we are in the age of technology. What is the next age?
So there, I've seen a few different, depending on if you're talking to a marketing brain, if you're talking to a political brain, if you're talking like everyone's going to have their what's it called, their term, their nomenclature or whatever. For me, I go industrial revolution, industrial age, uh, technological revolution, information age. If you're talking to a spiritual person, they'll say the golden age or whatever. So industrial, information age to the passion age.
Passion.
That is next, the passion age, because we're going from survival, fear, to the Star Trek abundance, where you don't need to do anything. You don't need to work anymore. In the Star Trek, I'm going way forward on that, but the bridge, we're building the bridge, right? In that sense, it's when technology is and technology is doing most things for us. The idea of needing to work to survive goes out the window. Abundance of resources, replication, technologies that are unimaginable to us right now, holographic things. All of a sudden, purpose becomes vital, creativity, passion, because it's more of the soul of like, what do I want to create? When I don't need to do anything, it's what I want to do. And so the passion age, the passion economy, represents that leap from survival to a humanity, a collective, a civilization that is both honoring the unity of all things, but also respecting the sacredness of individuality and originality that each spirit, each soul has.
Yeah, I love it how you said. It's like we are in a moment in our time that is unique. We have the luxury of being here talking, building that world, that how we imagine the world. If we were like, I don't know, 300 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do that. We would be working or starving or dying from whatever. But
Yeah.
now we have this luxury, the time, the technology, the space, the imagination. So, yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you talk about creating the future, the Star Trek world, what is Universal Imagination Alliance?
Universal Imagination Alliance came about from the vision of universal imagination. So everything that I mentioned about unity and individuality coming together and being fueled, the fuel of humanity being passion instead of fear, and separation. To me, when I vision this, and I go and I see imagination as the big picture of our evolution, of like the awakening, and I go, the vision of universal imagination represents that that experience for me. And so the Universal Imagination Alliance is here to help reveal that superpower, because that's what it is when we go quantum, we quantum leap, is superhuman, superpower, supernatural abilities become more real. And we can look at again, going into the spiritual, the mystical, telepathy, all the clairs, claircognizance, clairsentience. I mean, if you're in the realms that me and you operate, we see that, like psychics, intuitives, empaths, like it's real for us, but the rest of the world needs a bit of time to like open up for the skepticisms, because it's a major divide in our perspective, and our worldview and reality. The definedness of reality starts to crumble, and that's what this shift, the challenges of what is occurring right now is the systems are crumbling, and there's a lot of fear about stepping into this new world, and we're seeing old Earth, new Earth, or Earth version 1.0 and Earth 2.0 kind of clashing, of like who wants to stay in the old and come to the new and awaken, and it's as hot as ever right now.
Yeah.
And so Universal Imagination Alliance is gonna play a pivotal role in revealing the superpower of humanity, and bring together people, companies that want to pioneer what it means to be a conscious business, a conscious individual in this new paradigm of abundance, of multidimensionality, and what that means for Earth and civilization and all the big picture things, down to all of the industries, and antiquated structures that are no longer efficient anymore for us.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, I haven't been paying attention to messages, questions. You want to check if there are like people, if they want to ask something?
Yeah, we've gotten a few comments. Hello, everyone. Anna said, so glad I hopped on for the part of this. I've been super curious about 5D things, and this is really resonating with my journey. Yes, if my thoughts create my reality, how can I create new thoughts? Figure out how to do that, and then strengthen the muscle. Find the place that feels good. Yes. And then we got Christopher. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah, no questions yet, but if you do have questions, I have it in front of me, and we'll be sure to answer them.
Okay, so next week we are gonna have this webinar, and I know it's part of the, I would say the umbrella is a Universal Imagination Alliance, and then the first topic you are working is universal healthcare. So do you want to share a little bit about universal healthcare, or what to expect in this webinar that we're gonna have next week?
Yeah. So the universal healthcare, of course, is a hot topic, uh, hot topic. Stigma, um, debate, conflict, politics. It's enmeshed in a lot of things, and so this is the first thing that really got called to us as the project that we want to take to really bring this to life. Universal healthcare powered by imagination technology. So this again is not operating at the same frequency of the current traditional classical healthcare system as we know it. We're in the early stages. Has big visions, but early stages of really redefining what care can be, and again applying multidimensionality and the quantum mechanics of imagination technology to empower pure health. Uh, and and so that's what we're going to be talking about in the webinar next week. And yeah.
Who should we going to this webinar? Is target to certain people? Everyone can go.
Yeah, I would say anyone that wants to radically kind of like empower their health, and then more specifically, we're asking like if you know someone that is actually struggling with their health, and experiencing states of dis-ease, and I don't even want to get into labeling because this is not even about the labels, but the frequencies of dis-ease. If you know someone that's struggling with that, we really want to invite them. And if that's you, like, please, like, we're going to put the link in the comments here. But yeah, this is going to be addressing, especially if you've tried a lot of the scientific things, if you've tried holistic things and nothing's working, or frustrated, this is completely outside the box. And yeah.
Actually, I have other questions, but I'm gonna stop here. It's been an hour already.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure some of them are gonna be answered next week. So yeah. I'm super happy for having this time with you. It was fun. I love it. And hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah.
Look more. There are many things we can talk about here. Yeah. So I don't know if someone is writing questions, if the link is there so they can.
Yeah, we'll paste the link. I believe Amber can do that. Can you talk about how to tune into these things when still dealing with the 3D world in a traditional job until I can really create more of my life in certain ways? Okay. So this you can help because you went through this. You faced the 3D monsters. Can you talk about the tune things to dealing with 3D world in a traditional job until I can create more of my life? So what I would suggest, there's two brains here that you want to quell the left brain with strategy and as much planning and everything that gives the rational brain enough to chew on. But on the other side of the right brain, you want to really devise the baby steps to start to face the fears and to deal with the fear of failures, the fear of success, the fear of death, everything that the 3D fears that you're dealing with of staying in the traditional job versus giving a notice of departure. I think if that's what you're asking, in a traditional job until I can create more of my life in certain ways, yeah, is visioning ideas and brainstorming what it could be outside of that box, um, and and facing those monsters of what would happen if this happened, what would happen if this, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know, if I don't know, then that leads to this and this and this and this and this, and maybe you can address how you kind of took those baby steps of maybe giving the 3-month notice instead of 2 weeks, to give yourself more time to acclimate, where the outcome being the more you trust yourself in that almost blind leap of faith, the more the universe will be like, nice, here you go. You'll start to show yourself why it is following your passion full on is actually going to nurture and nourish you.
Yes, I would say that the corporate world hasn't been built for us as human with this 5D consciousness. So we feel stressed, tired, it's horrible because we are not made to do that. Yes, it's very close to all the possibilities, the imagination, the creativity we have. So when you are there, you are also filled with limiting beliefs. Everything is a problem. Your boss is a problem. Your coworkers are a problem. Waking up early is a problem. You don't have time to work out. It's not for everybody. It's not for anybody. I would say it like that. So what I would do is to start putting things that generate passion, that I love more, because we're limiting our lives to go to our jobs, go to our homes, watch Netflix, and then it's the weekend, we get drunk, we eat whatever it is, and then we stay in that cycle forever, months, years, decades. So for me, it's more to start looking for things that you love and you're passionate about, and put more of those things in your life. And then you will start creating a space for that things to happen and open the frequency of that passion you have. Not only a job, not only about quitting, but how you can start seeing that it's possible. When I was in that moment, I started putting like yoga and meditation or writing. I wrote my book. So I put the other dimensions in my life, even though I still was there. And today I have a corporate job. Like I said that I'm Bruce Wayne during the day and then at night I'm Batman. Yes, it's because I'm dealing with that, but I don't feel that drained and tired because I'm doing things that I'm passionate about, and I'm creating a beautiful future. Not the future that was before, that I needed to do that, the job I hated for the rest of my life, but the idea that I have a lot of possibilities and it's in my hands to create them. So you can quit tomorrow, that would help a lot. You don't need to wait. But if you want to do it step by step, would be adding those things in your life.
Love it. Awesome. Very good.
So 9/11.
Yes.
Let's see. No, I think the link is there. We will see you next week.
Yes. Thank you everyone for your comments, your interaction, and for joining. And we'll see you soon, guys.
Gracias. Chao, chao.
Gracias.